It's just a public service announcement, sponsored by Just Blaze and the good folks at Rockefeller Records.
Fellow Americans.
Welcome to 2K Sports. We've got NBA basketball for you. I'm Damon Bruce.
I ain't no joke. I used to let the mic smoke. Now I slam it when I'm done and make sure it's broke. When I'm gone, no one gets on, cause I won't let nobody press up and mess up the scene I set. I like to stand in the crowd and watch the people wonder. But think about it, then you understand. I'm just an addict, addicted to music. Maybe it's a habit. I ain't no joke.
2K Sports checks in with our loyal viewers with a broadcast from Brooklyn, the home of the Nets, Barclays Center. Great to have you with us, everybody, live on 2K Sports alongside Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg. I'm Kevin Harlan. Back in Brooklyn, the Nets tip off the beginning of the homestand. They're still scrapping for position in the playoffs. They're 15 games back from the #1 seed.
Well, I think for Brooklyn, they put together what I would call a dream season. I mean, they've elevated their play and have really become a team that makes it tough for everybody. They're a squad to be reckoned with, folks.
Well, Clark, the playoffs are going to be the real test for them. You know, sometimes for a team on the rise, they can get to the point where everything crashes down on them when the pressure arises. We'll see how they respond.
And now, State Farm presents New York's starting five. Up front, it's Carmelo Anthony and Tyson Chandler. Belton is out there with J.R. Smith, and it's Shumpert in at the 3. And for the Nets, Joe Johnson and Gerald Wallace, the 2 and the 3. Brook Lopez is out there with Evans, and it's Williams at point guard. Evans kicks to Williams, and here's Johnson outside. No good. Now the Knicks take it the other way. Last time they met in New York.
Boy, that was a gut-wrenching loss in what was a very tight game. They didn't rebound well, and I think that's what they're going to have to do much better tonight. They have to be tougher inside.
Doris Burke has some information for us. Doris?
I had a chance to talk with the head coach for Brooklyn. I asked him what he thought might give them an edge going into this game. He said, well, our shot blocking is always a cornerstone for us. To have the ability to protect the rim really, I think, is invaluable and one thing that helps sets us apart on the defensive end. Guys, let's see if they can lock down the paint.
Thanks, Doris. And given the scoring talent on the floor, defensive mindedness definitely a key here, guys. Any thoughts?
Well, I agree, Kevin. Playing sound defense has to be their focus. If they can win the battle at that end of the floor, I think they've got a great chance to win.
Well, I agree, because if they don't do that, Steve, what happens at the other end isn't going to matter. It'll be futile.
And that one's good. Williams has got his second bucket of the night. And I guess, Clark, one thing you could point out about that game, that they lost, the battle of the boards.
Got completely dominated in that area, Kevin, and statistically, that's what stood out. They just didn't bring the intensity. Tonight, they've got to bring greater intensity if they want to win.
And this really is such an interesting time for the Nets because the move to Brooklyn, I think, has elevated the image of that franchise. They used to be the little brothers to the Knicks and playing across the river in New Jersey. But now they basically are sharing the spotlight in the Big Apple, and it's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Anthony kicks to Felton. Back to Anthony. And that comes off the assist by Raymond Felton. Felton has got 3 assists in the game. The Nets have gone 3 of 5 shooting the ball so far. Williams kicks to Wallace. Back to Williams. 6 to shoot. And it's Brooklyn scoring again. Yeah, Nets are now in one of the premier locations, Steve, for any sports franchise, even if it was a short move. And I think, Clark, with that move, the whole mindset has seemingly changed.
Well, you can certainly call them a big market team now, and a lot of free agents will probably be interested in signing there. So definitely they've got a working advantage in their favor now.
First quarter of play, we're about 3 minutes in. Felton dishes to Shumpert. Felton the pass to Chandler. Ball's not loose. Evans kicks to Wallace. Kicks it to Lopez. Johnson outside. Dishes it to Wallace. Just 5 on the clock. The kick out to Williams. Here's the three, and that one's good. Williams has got 9.
The confidence grows when you start a game as hot as he has.
And he's picking the right shots, guys. I mean, he's making it happen 4 for 4 from the field and just taking good shots.
First quarter of play and just over 3.5 minutes in.
What I like about Darren Williams, guys, is he's not the fastest point guard, but he's a terrific ball handler, and he's incredibly deceptive and strong. Got that thick body, but that quick change of pace makes it almost impossible to stay in front of him.
With a break in the action, let's go to the 2K leaderboard. These squads have been lights out this month. In third, the Nets.
I just love the flow with which they've played recently. I mean, this is a dominant team offensively because of that rhythm and pace.
The Nets with the lead. You know, Clark, when you talk about Darren Williams and his ball handling ability, his crossover, one of the deadliest in the NBA.
And it's deadly because it's so tight. He can operate that crossover in really tight space. He'll use it to go by you or to sidestep into his pull-up jumper. It's definitely one of his signature attributes.
Here's Felton. After the basket by Brooklyn. Over Johnson. And the Knicks good for 2. Here is Williams. He's got 9. 43 seconds left in the first quarter. Feeds it to Lopez. All alone. Good, and it's Williams who picks up the assist. Lopez has got his first bucket of the night. And it's out of bounds. The Knicks able to retain possession here. .36 seconds left to play here in the first. Here's Felton. Good off the drop step. Felton's got 7 points.
Well, for him, that finger roll is almost second nature. That's a tough shot for most players.
Williams passes to Lopez. Straight up. And it's slammed in by Williams.
And for a point guard, you love LUV. That finish. Wow.
Yeah, he's really been able to get off his feet and sky. Something to watch.
Incredible athleticism, both laterally and vertically.
Here's Chandler, and that comes off the assist by Raymond Felton. Felton has got 5 assists tonight.
Right out of the gate, just filling it up.
Both teams are, guys. I mean, points coming fast and furious.
And at the end of one, both teams putting up some points. Nets lead by 1. Stay with us as we get set to bring you the second quarter right after this.
Coming up this Thursday night, Tony Parker and the San Antonio Spurs take on Kevin Durant and the Oklahoma City Thunder. You don't want to miss it.
Well, it's been a tight one so far as we get the second quarter going back here. And taking a look at the Nets' performance here, Clark and Steve, what do you guys think about what they have or haven't been doing?
Really good sign offensively the way they started this game out, getting a lot of hoops from close range.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to get baskets inside. I know you were a three-point shooter, Steve, and a really good one, but it's always easier to score in the paint.
Well, one of the big advantages for the Knicks is that you know they'll always have money to spend. This is one of the most lucrative organizations in the entire NBA. They've never been afraid of spending a lot on salary in the past, and even with the new collective bargaining agreement rules, I would expect to see the Knicks well into the luxury tax.
And a chance here presented by Gatorade to see who's on the floor, all fueled up and ready to go for the start of the second quarter. Setting the floor for the Knicks.
Terrific defensive play to cut him off and square up.
And he took a shot, excellent toughness to get in there and make a play. I love that kind of work.
Joe Johnson, he's checked in for C.J. Watson. Carmelo Anthony's checked in for the Knicks. Smith comes in for Jason Kidd. New York trailing. Knicks, one of the most storied franchises as well, Steve, as you're talking about New York. Even with the Nets coming into town, into Brooklyn, you would think the Knicks, in all that great history, Clark, will help them continue to recruit free agents.
Yeah, no question about it. New York is a special place, and it is in the landscape of NBA basketball. It's always going to be a hot destination for free agents. It's a place where guys want to play and want to be, not just for the basketball, but for what New York offers, and that's an advantage for the organization.
Great matchup here. This game has gone back and forth.
Multiple lead changes, just a great game, guys.
Johnson kicks to Williams, fires from deep, and out of bounds as the Knicks gain possession. And let's check out a group of shooting guards that have been doing some dirty work inside lately, averaging the most rebounds per game at their position over the last 10 games. Second is J.R. Smith.
You know, it's not easy to do what these players have done in that area, strictly because of positioning. Typically, as a two-guard, you're going to be on the perimeter a lot more often than you will be inside.
Yeah, but for all of these guys, you can point to their quickness as well as their superb instincts as to why they wound up on the list. I mean, you've got to have that nose for the basketball.
That's good. 14 points for Darren Williams.
You know, Darren Williams' three-point shooting has been solid, if not spectacular, over his career. Some seasons in the low 30s, others up in the 40s. It's a shot he's very comfortable with if you leave him open, but he has been a little streaky over the course of his career.
Evans, right side. Bogans dishes to Wallace. Evans gets it to go. The feed now to Shumpert. The dish to Smith. Anthony up on top. Jacks up a three. And it's Anthony again missing. And for Williams over the last few seasons with the Nets, he shot more three-pointers than ever before.
Exactly, Kevin. Last season, shot over 6 a game. So if he's going to shoot that many, you'd like to see his percentage in the mid to high 30s at least. That would be the basement.
Bogans covered by Smith. And out of bounds as the Knicks gain possession.
And stretching back to the break, here's how the Nets have performed. 6th in rebounding, 8th in scoring, and then the top half of the league in getting high percentage shots as well. Not too shabby.
And the rebounding is really the key stat that I'm looking at right there with all those numbers you talked about, Clark. This is a team that really tries to be physical, and when they're able to secure boards, that does a lot of things for them. It helps their defense, keeping teams from getting second chance opportunities against them, and it fuels their fast break.
You know, when the Nets made the trade for Darren Williams a few seasons ago, Kevin, they were thought to have made a steal of a deal.
You're right.
But you look at the haul they gave up, and it was a pretty steep price to pay.
Blotch covered by Anthony. And out of bounds as the Knicks gain possession. As the playoffs near, let's take a look at the Eastern Conference standings. Take a look at New York. And, of course, Brooklyn. They're just sitting one spot down, right on their heels.
You know, right now for the Knicks, they've been the story of the regular season in my mind, smashing expectations and really taking the league by storm.
Yeah, they've been impressive, no doubt about it. Among the league's best as we approach the postseason.
Gets it to go. Smith's got 5 points now in the quarter.
His offensive game is so refined, guys, extremely well developed in just about every aspect.
Going back to that trade you're talking about, Clark, several first-round picks and Favors, who has blossomed the last year or two up in Utah. Devin Harris was sent there as well. Not exactly cheap, Steve, but they had to give up a lot.
Well, gaining a superstar is never cheap, Kevin. And I thought the interesting thing about that trade was that New Jersey, now Brooklyn, of course, they didn't have any assurances from Darren Williams that he would re-sign. So it was really a major gamble at the time.
Martin, the pass to Smith. From the arc. Wallace with the rebound. Wallace has got rebound number 5 here tonight. Here's Watson. And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact and he'll shoot 2.
You know, for the better part of the history of the NBA, Kevin, the Knicks have been a fixture in the playoffs. And up until the last few years, they had missed out, but it looks like they're back now.
Carmelo Anthony is checked in for New York. In that stretch where the Knicks were out of the postseason picture, 7 consecutive years, which matched their only other big drought in the 60s. But they're back, Steve. The roster's improved. They are back.
Yeah, but how far back are they, Kevin? I think that's the question. You know, they've been good enough. They've had a lot of talent in the last couple of years, but the pieces haven't quite fit together. So they're still trying to put it all together as one and trying to make that next step.
That's good.
Well, another uncontested 3 there. They got to make some kind of an adjustment. I mean, they're giving up way too many open threes.
Well, the last 5 hoops, 3 have come off wide open three-pointers, Clark. So it's one thing to give up one, but you start giving three-pointers up in bunches, you're in big trouble.
Looking at who's out there now for the Nets. Chris Humphries has checked in for Lopez. Evans comes in for Andre Blatch. Keith Bogans, he's checked in for Gerald Wallace. And it's Johnson in for C.J. Watson. Williams kicks to Bogans. Humphreys taken away by Anthony.
Now running a little bit of time off. Looks like they're going to play for the final shot.
Steve, you're right. If nothing presents itself, hold for one.
Now it's hard to set up your D when you've just turned it over at the other end.
Yeah, a lot of points have been given up here, Steve, by way of turnovers. And their defense has just been short-circuited by their offense.
Clarky talked about a back-and-forth game. This is the definition of that.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Kevin. I mean, not even through the first half, and it's been one heck of a battle.
Well, these are the kinds of games you love. I mean, two good teams going head-to-head, an even matchup, and both sides very competitive, on their toes tonight.
And we're through two here in a good one. Nets out in front. They're up by 1. We'll see you after halftime for the beginning of the third quarter.
Now, presented by Sprint.
From the 2K Sports Studios, welcome. For the Wizards, they'll be...
And as we return, a view here of the landmark Statue of Liberty, illuminating this beautiful night.
Well, Williams has been great. 19 points, and he's given them a spark from outside with 3 3-pointers.
Well, you got to have that floor spacing. He is capable of knocking down that shot. That's exactly what he's doing today.
Johnson and Wallace, the explosive set of wings. Evans is out there with Brook Lopez, and it's Williams at the point guard position. So that's the Nets 5. Tipped. For the New York Knicks, they come into this one following a loss to the Atlanta Hawks. Here's Felton. Gets it to go from 18 feet away. Felton's got the first points of the second half up on the board for the Knicks. Williams kicks to Wallace. It's good. Great play by Williams to set it up.
And you can see the strategy has been to take the ball inside here.
That's where you get high percentage looks and draw fouls, Steve, and it's a good way to play.
The drive by Anthony gets it to go. Anthony's got 9.
Well, Carmelo Anthony might be the best scorer in the league in terms of just pure skill and talent. He can do it all. He can shoot threes. He can pull up mid-range shots. He can get all the way to the rim. He gets to the foul line. One-on-one, he's almost impossible to deal with.
Williams. That is good. Williams has got 21. And Clark and Steve, as we approach the fourth quarter, still anyone's ballgame.
Yeah, exactly right, Kevin. I mean, these teams just simply keep trading baskets, and as a result, trading the lead.
Yeah, neither side really able to create much of a cushion at all. So, which team can make a little run here? We'll see.
Anthony drives in, and he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him. And for Carmelo Anthony, Steve, you talked about him as a one-on-one scorer. Clark, you played small forward. How would you try to slow him down?
Well, it's difficult defensively. I think you'd have to attack him at his defensive end. Make him work. Try to have him use energy dealing with you, pounding, banging. Go at him and try to take some of the starch out of his offensive shirt.
Here's what Brooklyn's going with right now. Andre Blatch, he's checked in for Lopez. Humphreys comes in for Reggie Evans. Keith Bogans, he's checked in for Gerald Wallace. And it's Watson in for Darren Williams. It's Anthony with the drive. Brooklyn with the rebound. Blatch has got 3 rebounds now in this one.
With the move to Brooklyn now complete, we can look back at how the Nets fared in terms of playoff appearances during their time in New Jersey. They did a decent job of getting to the playoff while in New Jersey.
The finals a couple times.
Looky here. How about that one? That play. Take that play and put it in the alley-oop textbook for future reference.
Perfectly done. You put it on a platter for him.
He sure did. And how about the touch on the finish, too? That was really nicely done.
Chandler's shot, good. And it was hard, Steve, when the Nets were in the ABA. They won the 3 titles in 5 years, but the New Jersey version just didn't have that same success.
Well, the best years for the Nets were probably when Jason Kidd was running the show back a few years ago. They made the finals in consecutive years. But now it's a chance to start new in Brooklyn, start something special. And they're going to bank on this new venue, new location to try to jumpstart their franchise.
Anthony dishes to Chandler. For three, Kidd. Good. Kidd's got his first 3 points of the game.
A lot of the points they've given up have come on open threes like that one. And that has to be disconcerting and frustrating to their coach.
Well, they should know better. I mean, they read the scouting report. You can't leave these guys wide open on the perimeter.
And a new group in for the Nets. Brook Lopez is checked in for Blatch. Evans comes in for Chris Humphries. Gerald Wallace is checked in for Joe Johnson. And Darren Williams is subbed in for C.J. Watson. Williams, he's covered by Kidd. Another shot. Williams gets the bucket. Williams has got 23 points.
Guys, he's one of the main reasons this game is tied up. I mean, he's done his part to keep them in it.
Here's Copeland. The shot from the low post is good. And the Knicks lead by 2.
Yeah, no mistakes on the offensive execution there. You know, in his day, Gerald Wallace was one of the best athletes in the NBA. I think he's lost a step, but, you know, he's still a very explosive player, ability to get out in transition and just blow by slower defenders.
Got that bucket in no time at all. 6 points for him.
Well, they've really picked up the intensity here since halftime.
I think they got the pep talk in both teams now really going after each other.
This is a very steady performance offensively for him.
And for Gerald Wallace, not just great athleticism, but great length and explosiveness at that small forward position. Wow, Clark, some kind of athlete.
You know, Kevin, he's been one of those guys that can play the forward position for you as well, just because of his tenacity and athleticism. He had a season with double-digit rebounds. He plays so big, so that's a valuable asset to have when you got a guy like Wallace.
The Knicks have gone 7 of 12 from the floor since coming out of the break. He kicks it to Martin, and it's out of bounds. The Knicks able to retain possession here. Brooklyn making some changes. Andre Blatch, he's checked in for Lopez. Johnson comes in for Keith Bogans. And it's Watson in for Darren Williams. Felton can't get it to go.
A very rough quarter for him as not much is falling right now.
Evans kicks to Watson. Evans inside.
Major glass eating that time, fellas.
That's just the kind of aggressive basketball he's known for.
Yeah, it seems like we see that play from him almost every night. An offensive board that ends with a slam.
Here's Watson, and he beat the buzzer, but it's no good. That concludes the third quarter. It continues to be an exciting neck-and-neck game. Nets lead by 1. And after
the end of the regular season.
Welcome back as we get ready to start the fourth quarter. Who's had the Sprite uncontainable game in this one? Well, let's send it out to our Doris Burke. Doris?
Hi, guys. Well, it was the stretch by the Nets that garners the uncontainable game today. Things really opened up for them in the second period, and they were able to strike while the iron was hot. Very strong effort from the whole team this game.
Doris, thank you. That was quite a run they had. Quite exemplary of what we think of when we think about that turning point. Definitely a Sprite uncontainable game moment.
Yeah, you won't get any argument from me, Kevin. It was as big a factor in this game as anything. You know, when a team builds up that much momentum, it just becomes so hard to turn the tide back around.
Yeah, Steve, they just kept the throttle down. They sensed an area of weakness and then just continued to exploit it, never letting up.
And on the floor for New York here in the fourth, we've got J.R. Smith. Steve Novak is out there with Anthony. Then there's Martin. A shot by Anthony, no good.
Now, remember, he did make a three-pointer in the first half, so we'll see if he can find the range here in the second.
The open shot by Johnson. Another one falls for Brooklyn.
Yeah, he's such a clutch player, too. Relishes these big moments with the clock winding down, games up for grabs. That's when he tends to want the ball and create something, and more often than not, deliver.
And he's also quite adept at breaking down the defender one-on-one, guys. I like that about his game.
Watson kicks to Humphries, and he finishes nicely on the layup. And the Nets lead by 3.
No, they're just getting hammered inside and really need to find a way to be tougher down there. They got to be physical. They got to man up in there.
I agree. I mean, you look at the points they're giving up, most of them seem to be coming inside the paint.
Let's find out what Doris Burke has for us.
Thanks, Kev. Mike Woodson had some words for his team over that last break. He told his team to keep looking for three-point opportunities, saying their perimeter defense isn't doing a good job getting out on our shooters. So let's keep firing away until they decide to guard us.
Thanks again, Doris.
What a game. This is really fun to watch.
And when games are tight like this, I mean, success or failure can really turn on small details and one or two plays.
The Nets have gone a perfect 4 of 4 to start the final quarter. Can't ask for anything more than that. Wallace attacking. Got a piece of it. Chandler with the steal. Smith kicks to Shumpert. From deep. And again, New York with the triple.
Another turnover, another bucket.
And you know, Steve, turnovers can really be game changers. I mean, they sap your team and then give the other team life. So, what a talented leaper. Loves to climb up and throw it down. Man.
Oh, Clark, he gets up so quickly.
Yeah, like a pogo stick.
Oh, my gosh. Not a lot of point guards in the league can jam like he can.
That's for sure.
And he's able to finish, guys, amongst all the big fellas in the paint. Just amazing athleticism.
Gets the bucket.
Boy, these threes are picking them apart. I mean, 4 out of the last 5 shots against them, all uncontested, and all of our threes.
Yeah, the defense just looks uninterested right now. I mean, they're not making the effort to challenge these shots.
Wallace outside. Back to Williams. Fires the 3. And the Nets, another 3.
He's really picked up where he left off in the first.
Knicks have gone 6 of 8 from the field in the fourth so far. It's been a great start to this final quarter for them. Poke loose. In transition, here come the Nets. Here.
Up high and down hard.
That's how you use it, brother. And the Nets lead by 1. And guys, here in the fourth quarter, still a close game.
Yeah, and actually still too close to call. I mean, this one is tight.
This could be an instant classic, fellas. I mean, this thing has all the looks of a game that's going to go right down to the last shot.
Johnson kicks to Wallace. Outside Williams. Lets the 3 fly. The second effort. No good. Felton with some nice D.
Well, they've had the advantage on in rebounding all night, but none bigger than the one right there.
The Knicks shooting a superb 63% from the field. Fires from the wing. And it's Smith missing. The Nets have gone 7 of 9 from the field down the stretch here in the fourth quarter. Terrific shooting. Johnson with it. Now Felton defending. And that's good for Joe Johnson for 3. Johnson's got 8 points in the quarter.
Now, we've seen this from him before. Once he gets going, look out.
For 3, Felton. New York, no good that time either.
Tough three-point try there with a hand in his face.
Boy, you'd be lucky to make that one against great defense.
Nets passing it around. And here's Johnson outside. And the Nets, another 3.
And he cannot play any better than he is right now in this quarter, guys.
Time call here. The Knicks decide to talk it over. They're down by 7. 46 seconds left in the fourth. 46 seconds left in the fourth quarter. It's good! And now they trail by just 4.
Boy, they answered that three-pointer right back.
It is raining threes in here now, boys.
The Nets shooting a magnificent 69% in this game. Out to Wallace. And so they foul intentionally. And when you take a look at what the story under the glass has been, tremendous presence under the basket.
Yeah, you said it. Tremendous presence. You're right. It definitely has been. And it might come down to the final possession, that key rebound.
Wouldn't that be something? And so he drops them both. It's a 6-point ball game.
Well, they call him Crash for a reason, Kevin. I mean, his ability to create havoc on the floor, diving for loose balls, getting offensive rebounds. He's just got that combination of size and speed at the kind of 3-4 position that is really tough to deal with.
And his athleticism really elevates that hustle play of his to an elite talent. I mean, he covers a lot of ground getting in passing lanes. And one other thing is when he gets in transition, we all know he can finish.
Second one is good. Doing both at the line, and it's a 5-point game.
And I'll tell you what, those 2 free throws give them some much-needed breathing room, guys. It's now a 2-possession game.
Unable to get the ball in bounds, they get called for the 5-second violation. Jason Kidd's checked in for J.R. Smith, and that's an intentional foul. Can't get the first one to drop. And no good on the second free throw, so he goes 0 for 2 there.
Not much time to work with. They need a basket here.
Yep, they've got to get a steal or foul to stop the clock.
Anthony kicks to Felton. Count it! What a beautiful shot to bring him to within 3.
Soft defense right there. Way too soft.
Taken away by Anthony. Outside, Felton. Buries the triple! And oh, that was an enormous 3-pointer.
And that's what you love to do as a road team, Kevin. Hit the big shot to take the crowd right out of it.
Well, they've done that for sure.
They sure have. And that shot right there had a huge effect on this crowd. Shooting percentage is off the charts, guys. He's really hitting his shots today.
Time call here. The Knicks decide to talk it over. They trailed by 3. 1 second left in the fourth quarter. And so it's Brooklyn who scrapes by with the win. Clark, it was anybody's game right to the very end.
Yeah, it was. The coach is happy with the outcome, but maybe not so much with the margin.
And that'll do it for Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke. This is Kevin Harlan. Thanks for watching this presentation of the NBA on 2K Sports.